From rebuild to build, Sam Hinkie died for our sins. This process is ready to take off. I can't wait. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, Dario Saric, and that stupid nickname, the Feds are coming. By God. Kyle Gaffner is here. I'm Adrian Fedq. Season starts on Wednesday in Washington against the Wizards. Hey, process is here.
It's here, and it's climbing, and it's going to continue to go. And we take on a very good opponent in the Washington Wizards. I think it's going to be a great matchup for us, and I'm very excited to watch this. You're going to see great guard play out of John Wall and Bradley Beal, so it's going to be a test to our young guns to see if they're going to be able to shut down this team, because they are going to be one of the teams we're going to have to face if we really want to get to that ultimate goal.
Yeah. First topic of discussion, it's going to be Joel Embiid, obviously. That's who everyone wants to hear about. I mean, by God, he's becoming the most entertaining personality in the league already. I mean, his Twitter war with Hassan Whiteside was absolutely hilarious. He's a goddamn savage, and he doesn't use burner accounts.
Not like KD where he accidentally insults people and doesn't.
That was so savage, dude. That was so hilarious.
And it's awesome because he tried to play it off like it didn't bother him, and it so did, and it blew up in his face.
So here's the thing about Embiid. So they're saying there's going to be a minutes restriction to start the season in the teens. All right. So you want to compare that back to last year. The only games he only played 2 of his 31 less than 20 minutes. His high was 29 minutes and 49 seconds against the Timberwolves in a home game on January 3rd. So minutes restriction. What are your thoughts on it?
I can understand they want to be a little cautious, obviously. He just signed that brand new shiny contract.
Yep.
So I would do it for the first maybe week of the season. And if he looks like nothing's wrong with him and he's just cruising along, I say you increase those minutes. Because at some point, you're going to have to just unleash him. And if he just gets hurt, he gets hurt. There's nothing you can do at this point. I mean, he's in his 4th year now, I believe. But he gets hurt, he gets hurt. But you can't just baby gloves him the entire time he's out there. And hopefully this doesn't last the whole season. Like it's happened before. Like fingers crossed they don't do that. Because without Embiid, there is no ultimate goal of winning that championship.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'll extend the minutes too. Like because they're going to be in close games now. This is we're talking playoffs now. We're not talking tanking anymore. So there are going to be situations where the game's going to be tied in the 4th quarter. And are you really going to sit Embiid for those minutes? So you really got to know how to plan this out, too, when you're doing this.
Yeah, they're going to have to manage it, and that's going to fall on Brett Brown on how they're going to do it. And I don't know if he has to get permission from the Colangelos or what have you, the doctors. Because if you remember last season, when they had a little controversy there in the one, I don't remember what game it was, but they took Embiid out. He wanted to play a little more. I think he was up to 21 minutes. Yep. I think there might have been 5 minutes left in the game, and he wanted to go out and play, and they said, no, you're not doing it. And he took his giant foot, and he kicked that chair. He was pissed. That kind of made you hold your breath as a Sixers fan a little bit.
Yeah, kicking that chair might have caused more injury than anything he could have done on the court.
Yeah, exactly. So he's going to be your closer, though, when it comes down to close games. He's going to be able to be your closer, shut everything out, get to the line, and win us some ball games.
All right. So here's what I want to say about him next. I'm curious to get your thoughts, and I think you would agree with me. Maybe we'll see. So obviously his agility is unparalleled. He's 7'2". The things that he can do with a basketball on the perimeter is just extraordinary. He can take it all the way to the rim. He's got the Euro step, all that stuff. But by God, every time he's on the perimeter with the ball, I cringe. And we saw another scare again, last preseason game. Every time he drives to the rim, he falls on his leg, and he almost gets hurt. Stop it. Stop it with the wing drives. If you want to bust it out later in the season when you really need to, then do it. But by God, Joel, get your ass on the block and go to work.
Yeah, you're 7-2. Do what big men do and just bang those bodies around and take over, dominate. You don't have to go out there and prove anything. You're not a guard. You're not a wing. I know you have the ability to do so. I know he likes to show off his arsenal too, because he's an incredible phenom talent. But like you said, if you have to use that in the game, do it. But if there's no need to, please don't make us hold our breath when you're doing that, because it doesn't look pretty when he does it either. He's kind of ogreish when he does it. It's not very fluid, not like when Kevin Durant does it or you know, those other big guys, but they're a lot thinner than him. He's a big man.
Like the second foul he draws on Hassan Whiteside, he's like he's taking a dive into the stands almost. He's flopping like a fish. Like, come on, dude, get on the block.
Get on the block and take over. You can push those guys around. You're a beast. He's in beast.
All right, next thing I want to get into, the free throws. All right, so he attempted 18 in his first preseason game, 4 during his second, but he drew 5 fouls within the first 5 minutes, 3 on Whiteside. So this is something that, you know, I think is going to translate into the season. So you look last year, he averaged 7.9 free throw attempts per game. That number is going to go way up. And hell, he might even lead the league in free throw attempts per game if he keeps doing what I saw this preseason. Get your ass on the block, draw a bunch of fouls, and unlike guys like Shaquille O'Neal and Wilt Chamberlain, Joel Embiid can actually shoot the ball, so he can make these foul shots.
Yeah, he's got a nice touch, and this is where it's going to come down to him just taking over a game and being able to put points on the scoreboard and not have to worry about getting hurt, too, while he's doing it. You know, trying to do a spin move. If he's just getting easy points there and winning the games at the foul line, that's what we want. So go down there. We saw how dominant Shaq was all of them years in the early 2000s. He got the ball, got hacked. Unfortunately, he was one of the worst free throw shooters of all time. But Joel, you had touched on it, is not. He's got a nice touch, so just go down there and dominate. Get fouled 18 times. You're going to be able to handle it, and that's what has to happen. And this is going to open up the around the perimeter, too, for shooters. If he's getting double, triple down there, it's going to have wide open shots for, you know, guys like Anderson and J.J. Redick and Fultz even.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. And, you know, just to kind of have a little fun. So it's only 2 games, 2 preseason games, but 12 free throw attempts in each game, and he's not even playing a full game. So, you know, I mean, obviously his minutes are going to be limited, but I am curious to see how many foul shots a game he ends up attempting by the end of the season, because you see the body blows that he can accumulate. I mean, he's tough to stay in front of because he's so quick for a big guy. And for a big guy to have to guard him, you're going to reach. You're going to foul. So what Whiteside did 3 times within 2.5 minutes. You know, Whiteside actually does a really good job defending him. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. If he can only stay in the game for 3 minutes before committing 3 fouls, well, then all of a sudden you don't have to go against him no more, do you? So those are the body blows. I mean, he drew 5 fouls in 5 minutes. You put a team in the penalty like that.
And that's going to help with free throw shooting for the team, and it's also going to take their best defender out if the team does have that. So you're going to be able to drive to the cup, which is going to benefit players like Ben Simmons and such, guys that really can't shoot. So it just doesn't affect Embiid. It affects actually the whole team and the other thought process that's going to be and strategy that's going to be going on with the opposition. So it is a huge thing. It's a minor detail, but it's huge to win some games for the Sixers if he's going to be able to do this.
Yep. And I talked about it, 12 free throws a game in the 2 games, preseason games. The last NBA player to average over 12 free throws a game was Shaq back in 2000, 2001. So I'm curious to see, man, when Embiid really hits that prime and he can stay healthy all the time, how many free throws is he going to be attempting per game?
Ooh.
You know, I
3-point plays too, Adrian, because he's got that dream shake and up and under too.
Yeah, and I look at a guy like Wilt Chamberlain, averaged 11.4 free throw attempts per game throughout his whole career. You're looking at something like this with Embiid, potentially, if he gets on the block, because he's got all the shimmy moves, he's going to draw so many fouls. And again, like I said, he ain't Shaq. He's going to hit his foul shots.
Yeah, more often than not. And God, this is why he's such an incredible talent, though. This is why it was worth the risk taking him at number 3 way back when. And remember all those people that weren't happy about it? I wonder if they're happy now after what? Yeah, he hasn't played all but 31 games in 3 years, but look at the body of work in the small limited time. It was worth it. Guy could be one of the best big men. He could be better than Shaq. He could be better than Wilt. This time will tell.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy.
Yeah, yeah. Ben Simmons now. We'll move on to him. Is it crazy to think that maybe he can be an all-star this year, let alone the year?
I don't think it's crazy at all. I think he's front runner to win Rookie of the Year, up there with Lonzo Ball.
Definitely front runner. I would say so, yeah.
After seeing what he had done with that?
Front runner for Rookie of the Year, yeah, I would say he should be.
Yeah, you saw what he did in a couple preseason games. I mean, he's just got incredible vision. I would like to see him take a little bit more. If he gets that arsenal with the jump shot going in there, because he can get to the 10 at will. There's nobody stopping him. The double team, he can split it just because he's got great agility, and he's even worked on his body control too. Just because he's a big body guy, you can see what he does on the block. But where he really strides is when he can get that rebound and get that outlet pass out.
I'm glad that Heat game happened because I know that Ben Simmons can score, and there's this assumption that he can't because he can't shoot. I know what he can do. I watch a lot of his games at LSU. I know, if you get him on the wing and he's got momentum going forward, he's going to drive right past you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't keep him in front of you, and he changes speeds. Also, the other thing, he can score from the block. This is something a lot of people I don't think are talking about enough. I mean, he's going to have – if you put a guard on him, he's going to fucking bull you in the post. and he's got – he's so nimble with his feet. And the one post-up that he had, I mean, he had this one-handed catch where he just turned smoothly, easy dunk. He's going to be feasting in the post. If you want to put a guard on him, he's going to feast in there.
And have imagine though, who are you going to guard if you got Embiid and Ben Simmons down there at the post? Because they both can pass too. That's an underrated.
Yep, that's the next point. His post passing is excellent.
Got great vision down there. Being 6'10" with that body, kick it out for more open shots. You can't have everybody all over the court when you have guys like this down on the post with Embiid and Ben Simmons.
Yeah, it seems like to me it's like Simmons scores when he wants to. When he really wants to, he will. But ultimately, I don't think he wants to. I think he does legitimately want to get his other teammates involved. And you know what? 3 points is greater than 2 at the end of the day because he does a lot of driving and kicking. And, you put that ball where your shooters want it, they're going to knock it down. I mean, his passes are right in the shooting pocket every time. It's perfect. His vision is incredible. I can't say enough about him.
Me neither. And that's why I just can't wait to see for the season to get started. We got a little bit of a taste in preseason. We waited for it all last year. With that awful injury, we thought maybe he'd come back midseason. Maybe the Sixers would make a playoff run. Well, we don't have to wait any longer, guys. It's here. Guys are healthy, and they're all going to be playing. And there's no minute restrictions on Ben Simmons, which everybody's got to be happy to hear, ecstatic to hear.
Yeah. Next topic of discussion. Markelle Fultz. And I'll tell you what, our boy Eric, he called it. He called it. He said, he's going to be coming off the bench. And it really is the right play right now. It'll be, I know people are talking bust with Fultz. I think people are getting carried away because of one preseason game where he looked very out of shape. I'm curious why they benched him. I wonder why. Because I don't think he was hurt. I think they were just using that as an excuse. It seems like they wanted him to get in shape and get ready for the season. That's what and he's also going through a mechanical change with his shot. Mm-hmm. So if they would have kept trotting him out there, he's not in shape. He would have kept hearing it from the fans. That's the way I look into this. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I feel like people are jumping ship too quick, comparing them to Anthony Bennett, was biggest bust in NBA history. They could be making this injury up. It's not out of the the thought for Brian Colangelo to do something like this.
Oh, this is what he does.
This is what he does. Yeah, he's the #1 overall pick, and you think, wow, under the number one pick, they got to go out there and be an impact player. Not all the time. There's a learning curve to it. There's always going to be a learning curve. There's some players out there that haven't had to do it, but his fault's that, who knows? Let's bring the kid along slowly. He hasn't played basketball in, God, what was it, February, before he played the summer league? It had been a long time. He's been out of shape. Just let him go. Let him go through these learning motions with his shot. And it might benefit him to come off the bench, be with the second unit. Bring him up. Get a little poetry and motion going with Dario Saric if that's the case. But I had said it before, Brett Brown is going to have a rotation of musical chairs, I feel, at the beginning of the year. You're not going to see the same lineup, I don't think, night in and night out. I feel like he's going to just go by feel and who has the hot hand.
Yeah, after watching Ben and Markelle kind of play with each other the first game, the call is to bring him off the bench right now because Fultz kind of needs the ball more in his hands than being off the ball. Mm-hmm. Right, at least right now. I think over time he'll kind of figure out how to play with Ben. But right now, he needs that ball in his hands. And in the second unit, when Ben's not going to be out there, let him have the ball in his hands. Mm-hmm. And let him create, let him do all that. That first preseason game, he didn't look comfortable playing with Ben, and he looked out of shape. Like he didn't. It was just like that's how I felt.
He did. He looked winded. I mean, there was a nice play they had together, but it's going to take some time. There's team chemistry that has to happen. You have great players, but they need to have some chemistry built. But I think you're right. I think he does need the ball in his hands to create. As of right now, he can be a shooting guard at some point, but this is what he knows now. This is what he's done since he's been in high school. He's been the true point guard. So let him carry that over to the season. We don't need him to be the point guard of the first unit. Let him learn a little bit coming off the bench with Dario. I feel like Dario will be able to come up and he can learn a little bit how to be a shooting guard at that point.
Yeah, it might take him a little longer to develop, and that's okay. People are talking bust, I think, because they've seen what's happened with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. I mean, granted, those two, it's their second year when they really shined. Well, Embiid is third year, by God. Fultz doesn't have that luxury, and it's like we have this assumption that he was just going to come in here and average 20 points a night. That wasn't going to happen.
The stigma coming with the first overall pick. It's just the same thing that happens with it. Yeah.
So there you go. All right. Let's see. Next topic of discussion. Oh, I wrote this down. The Sixers were last in the NBA last year in offensive rating with 100.7. That's going to change this year.
Yeah, for sure. Because
how much do you think that's going to change?
I think we'll go up by – I say we'd probably average about – I'm going to say 117 a game. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a 17-point increase.
Okay. All right.
Do you think – go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think this offense looks completely different now. Like, they're trying to be San Antonio, drive and kick and all the threes, and Ben Simmons doing a good job of leading everything, and you're going to have Joel. But, I mean, I think J.J. Redick is going to make a huge impact. And when they signed him for 1 year, $23 million, a lot of people said it was too much money. The people that said it was too much money didn't understand why they signed him. Listen, they had to meet a cap floor. Like, they still had money to spend after they spent on Redick, So they overpaid for the shooting, but his shooting is a perfect fit for this team. He was 12 of 14 from beyond the arc in the preseason. It's remarkable. He's not going to do that in the regular season. He's not going to shoot 90% from three-point range. But as you can see, he's fitting in seamlessly. And it's not a coincidence.
And he's a pure shooter, Adrian, too. I mean, the guy's been lights out an elite shooter since he came into the league. He did it down at Duke. We saw his ability there. And you look at our three-point shooters that we had before J.J. Redick. So you want to improve this by paying a little more to get a veteran, too, because of his ability to knock down open shots. Sauce is too streaky of a shooter. Justin Anderson's still learning how to shoot. He's not very consistent. So is Covington, a very, very streaky shooter. So to be able to bring a guy in like that, it's going to even have open looks for guys like that. And maybe he can even teach a thing or two to Covington and to Sauce even how to shoot. But you have to pay because we had a ton of money. Who cares? Let's just throw money out there like Oprah. What does it matter? It's not our money. We needed to meet the cap floor. It's fine. We're going to have all our guys locked up. I feel like that's a lot of concern of fans, too, and we're not going to be able to.
It's not even a concern. It's not a concern at all. His contract is off the books after a year.
Right.
And then all that money you have it again.
Mm-hmm.
Relax, people.
Just got to breathe. Just got to breathe.
All right, so if Markelle Fultz is not in the starting lineup, who do you think should be? Now, I know they're saying Bayless and McConnell, but what do you think?
You're going to have Ben running the point, obviously. So I would like to get a little more offense out there if Fultz isn't going to be out there, obviously. So you look at the two positions there, and you look at our roster right now. Is TJ McConnell and Bayless the best? I think they might be because at least you can let Ben go down on the block then if you have a true point floor down out there. So I wouldn't mind having TJ McConnell out there just because he knows how to run this offense. But then you look at it, Bayless is a way better shooter than TJ.
That's why I would start him over McConnell because of Ben's drive and kick.
So that would benefit him more so, but he's been out for a year. He played 3 games last year. Is he really back in shape? He hasn't really played with the offense. So there's kind of pros and cons with both players. But to get more offense out there, I guess you could go with Bayless. I'm not a big fan of him.
Yeah.
But to benefit the starting lineup, it'd probably be beneficial to have him out there other than TJ.
Now, I'm sure the fans would want Dario to start, but I just love Dario coming off the bench. I think he brings the energy off the bench that you need out of a 6-man. I think he's perfect for that role. And he understands it too, you know. I think he and Fultz. But here's the thing too. Watching this preseason, he and Dario and Ben seem to be playing really well together too. So I mean, you're going to see them out there on the floor together at times, but I think Dario coming off the bench makes more sense for this team.
And it would help Fultz too. If you do thrust Dario into the lineup, who's really gonna? Where's the scoring gonna come from on the second unit if he's not there? You're gonna have a lot more pressure on Fultz if that's the case. Okafor, we still don't know. He's looked good in the preseason. We don't know if that's gonna come over to the regular season. So I think it's too risky to really start him at that. I'd rather him come off the second unit because then you at least know you have a pure scorer coming off the bench and help Fultz come along slowly but surely. Don't have to, you want to have as less pressure on Fultz as much as possible. No pressure whatsoever.
Yeah, and a guy like Bayless he's got to stay healthy too, because he's been hurt all the time.
We've been bit with the injury bug just a little bit because Rashawn Holmes is out for 3 to 4 weeks with that wrist injury.
All right, so let's kind of talk about some other guys. Who do you think's kind of underrated on this team?
Ooh, underrated.
You want me to throw a name out there?
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone knows about Robert Covington, so that doesn't really count. So I want like somebody different than that. People might not agree with me, but that's okay. I'm going to say Justin Anderson. People are going to look at that and be like, "Huh, Justin Anderson?" I think defensively he helps his team, and if he's going to be hitting the corner threes, as he showed maybe in the preseason, I think he's a good fit for the team. I think he's a good role player off the bench, and he understands his role. Kid that went to Virginia, so he knows how to defend. I think he's better than people give him credit for, but I understand why people may not like him because he's not sexy.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't do anything well. I think he plays defense. He's pretty good. I don't know if he could be our 3-and-D guy just because he's too streaky of a shooter. But he brings energy off the bench, which I love. He's like a ravaged dog out there. You could just sick on people. He could just be like our Charles Oakley type guy. Go out there and be a bruiser. Knock some people around a little bit. And he was a slasher at Virginia, so it would help with Ben Simmons being out there or even TJ McConnell. If he can score points that way, if he can just bring that shot along. And I'm hoping J.J. Redick is able to teach these young pups how to be able to shoot because I feel like at some point he could be a shooting coach.
Yeah. Rashawn Mahomes, you could say, is underrated too, but I throw out Anderson because I feel like nobody talks about him.
And Rashawn Holmes, people have to know him. He's a great energy guy too. He was out playing Okafor the few years he was here. Very underrated guy. It sucks to see him go down with an injury because he finally got his chance. Now with waiting, never complaining anything, and now that he does have his chance, he's got to wait even longer because he's out for 4 weeks. So that kind of stinks. Sauce Castillo, pretty much this is done for him. Obviously, TJ McConnell I think's underrated. I think he gets a bad rap, but we've all talked about him before. I think he's a nice floor general, good backup point guard, solid backup point guard.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what it kind of comes down to for me, and why I think Justin Anderson is underrated. I feel like he's a better wing defender than a lot of the other guys on the team, and he might like Furkan Korkmaz is known for his shooting. We'll see what kind of happens with him over time, but defensively, he's not going to bring it.
Liability.
I feel like Justin Anderson is like almost like TLC in a way, but a better shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather have him than TLC. Stauskas is just I'm just fuck him. So I really think Justin Anderson is better than people think.
TLC's got to show leaps and strides this year. Definitely. To even be considered.
I didn't like what I saw in the summer league.
No, I did not either. He's supposed to be a lockdown defender. He still looks completely lost on offense, like he just doesn't know what to do. But that might be a whole mental thing, Adrian, to tell you the truth. Because the talent is there. We've seen flashes from him last season. He came on strong at the end of the year, and then it just looked like he lost it over the summer. I don't know if he just partied too much, but you got to get back down there, lock some guys down, and hit them shots, man. And again, I know we've talked about it, but it's shooting. And I still think we need wing players on this team.
So we know that Markelle Fultz likes to go to Chick-fil-A a lot. Somebody that wasn't visiting Chick-fil-A this offseason, Jahlil Okafor, he went vegan. I don't know if they have a vegan chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A, but that's the only way Ja's going there now.
For sure, because that guy cannot be. I'm glad he made that decision because he looks good out there. He's got a little lift to his game. He's got a lot of energy to it. It seems like he's bought into this offense. Doesn't look like the same old sluggish Jahlil Okafor with a chip on the shoulder. Doesn't want to do this, complain that. But I like what I'm seeing out of him. I hope he brings it over the season. But there's all those remarks saying he doesn't feel like he's a part of this team. So I don't know if he is in here for that long haul.
Well, can you really blame him? Like it's like I've heard people complain about him. Can you really blame him? He has been treated like a piece of shit here. I'm sorry. I wouldn't want to be here either.
That started from day one.
I just went vegan, and you still don't want me.
I don't know, man. Can you blame the people though? He said he didn't want to come here to Philadelphia. He didn't want to be drafted by Philly at all. He doesn't want to play here. And then there's that whole issue with beating people up when they were losing. I know he wasn't used to losing. So can you really blame the fans either? I feel like that streak goes both ways.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. He better play himself. So play well enough so he can get traded. So
yeah.
There you go. If he wants out, play like it so you can get out. Because right now they haven't been able to trade him. He hasn't played well enough.
No, he has got absolutely no trade value. So if you want to slim down, play great to get out of here, you got to put in the work to do it. It's not just going to happen. It's not going to fall into your lap like it had in high school and college. It's the big leagues now.
Now, I feel like on another team, like he'd be better, obviously. He needs to be on a team with a better fit because here they want to run and gun. He's fat. He's Big Ja.
Mm-hmm.
I know he got lean and trim and mean, but he's always going to be Big Ja. He don't want to run up and down the floor.
No.
That's what the new NBA is, and that's what the Sixers want to be. He just doesn't adhere to that style.
He's a post player.
Yeah, he needs to be in a half-court setting.
Yeah, somewhere like the San Antonios, the places like that.
Like the Grindhouse. Memphis would have been perfect for him like 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Perfect. But, yeah, it's adapted, and he can't really shoot. He doesn't really have range, so what do you do at that point? He's a dinosaur. He's a relic in this new NBA.
Yeah. Do you feel like they need to keep him because Embiid can't stay healthy?
Yes. Until we find out if Embiid's going to be able to play 60, 70 games, he's got to be our insurance policy for Embiid.
Well, here's the thing. It's like Ike Reese had this tweet like a couple weeks ago, and I responded to him, and I was like, listen, like, I'd rather keep him right now because you literally can't get anything for him. Why are you going to trade him if you can't get anything back for him?
Right.
So you might as well keep him as an insurance policy for Embiid. You kind of have to. Your back's against the wall.
We're between a rock and a hard place with that situation. And then come be it at the end of the season, if he shows a little something, if he wants to play here and Embiid, I don't even want to say it, then fine. Or we draft somebody. But at this point, he's locked in with the Sixers. We have him. There's no point in pulling a Chip Kelly and just cutting him like Deshaun Jackson and getting nothing for him. It's pointless.
It's not like, because think about it. If Embiid is out and Ja's no longer on the roster, who you got? Rashawn Holmes.
Well, he's hurt too, so you definitely have to keep him at this point.
Amir Johnson.
Amir.
You're going to bring Chris Humphries back?
Oh, God. Well, Mecca Okafor did sign with our G League. So
yeah, Mecca Okafor, him. Yep. Well, there you go. There's some depth right there.
Yeah, bring him up. Get him acclimated. He hasn't played in 4 years. Get him a little acclimated down at the G League and bring him up.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
All right. What else we got on the list? What else is there to talk about?
See, we went over each player, talked about the coaches. Obviously, we all feel like we're going to make a playoff run. Definitely.
All right, so that's what we can do. Now, I have not looked at the conference or made any predictions yet. I don't know if that's something you'd want to do right now.
Yeah, why not? In the
Or
East.
do you want to do a separate show tomorrow with picks?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right.
Yeah, let's do that.
Picks tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what we'll do instead of picking right now.
Yeah.
I need time to think about who's on which team.
On teams and then see who's moved, definitely.
Yeah. All right. We'll do that tomorrow. As for right now, okay. By God, how did we go through the show without talking about Brett Brown? So, 75 and 223. That's his record here with Philadelphia. Obviously, very unfair going through all this nonsense of tanking. But now he's got a team. And we're starting to see the San Antonio influence. Easy for me to say. Do you think he could be for real?
I think so. I like Brett Brown. Always been a fan. You can't judge him what he had in previous years because of the tank. You saw what wins he did eke out with the players that he did have. I think that shows a lot of intuitiveness on his part on being able to scratch out wins. He gets the best out of his players, I feel. Yeah, that he's had a learning curve. He doesn't always make the best calls, but he's kind of new to this whole thing. He came from great lineage over there, learned under Popovich. So I think that's rubbed off. We've seen bright spots, So I definitely say this is it for Brett, though. He has no more excuses.
No more excuses. Absolutely.
This is it. So if you don't come out here and have a winning record or even make a playoff push, then he's going to get the boot.
Well, the thing that they were on him for last year was closing out games, late game situations, what's your play calling like? And, earlier on the season, he would draw up these plays, they didn't work, these Sixers would lose. And then that one play, Robert Covington down the lane, Dario with the pass, got the layup. And ever since then, Brett Brown seems to have gotten a lot better in those late game situations. All it takes is some success to build some confidence, and now we're seeing that confidence now.
For sure. Or even sometimes I like Phil Jackson when he would do this. You let the players figure it out.
Yeah. I like that he would that's the thing I always liked about Phil Jackson, because obviously the typical thing to do when there's a big run, you call a timeout. Phil Jackson would always let his team play through it. Or he'd call a quick timeout before the run would even happen. He was so good at that.
Brilliant at it, and that's what I like, and maybe Brett Brown could even come off of that, because some of those plays where we would win by one, like, for instance, that play, You just let the players figure it out. It looked like street ball out there. It was all discombobulated. There was nothing drawn out. It was just guys running off the screens. You just throw it up there. You had that one-hander off the backboard, and it went in. I mean, the place went wild. Yeah. And all it does is take some winning to have some confidence, for sure. But Brett Brown, great guy. Great coach.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the crowd, you are a part of the season ticket plans again. And you're 7 rows up from the floor.
Yep.
Wow. You've got some tickets, bro.
Got some awesome tickets. And it looks like I did it at the right time because everybody called me crazy when I was buying them when they were winning 10 games a year. But this is what I envisioned. And you look at what they
having foresight, like Sam Hinkie.
That's right. You got to look into the future and be able to see what's going to happen. And I had faith in the Hink, and look what we're at now. You have to pay just to be on a waiting list. The tickets are very, very hard to come by now. And I think it's going to be a great season down there. And I'm ready for some playoff basketball because it's been a while.
Yeah. Well, they're going to make a run this year. I mean, they're definitely going to make a playoff push. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs. We'll see how high they can go. I mean, obviously the Eastern Conference, not like the West. I guess we'll kind of give more of a definite pick tomorrow. But, I mean, I can see this team getting as high as a 5 seed, 4 seed.
When I had said that on an earlier video, I know one of our subscribers, Norman, didn't think so. He didn't think it was going to be easy for us to get in there because he named a couple teams. But I wasn't sure.
The problem is we're not in the West. We're in the East. The East stinks.
Yeah, they're terrible. And I mean, it's going to be easier. I'm not saying we're going to be like a 2 seed or anything. But I wasn't sure if he was just saying that off of having Embiid or not. But I still think if Embiid is a little hampered in the beginning of the season, we're still going to win some games to get in the playoffs. That's why I want to ask you, though. What do you feel about the NBA possibly passing that new rule on the playoffs? It's just being 1-16.
I hate it.
I think it stinks, too. I think it takes the fun out of it, the rivalries. It's like very, very corny. I hope they don't pass that.
I hate the stupid new All-Star game. Well, not new All-Star game. This is something that other leagues have tried, and it's failed miserably. But now all of a sudden, the NBA is like, all right, we're going to get in on the fun like 5 years after the fact with that stupid picking teams.
Oh, it's awful. It ruined football. Even though the Pro Bowl wasn't fun to watch, you still had, AFC versus the NFC, which made it fun. But just drafting players out of in the entire league, it's corny. Like, what are you doing? I thought basketball out of all of them was the worst out of the All-Star games. It was just so boring to watch. I would rather
it was the best because I don't take any of the games seriously. I look for the highlight plays, and I always enjoyed the NBA All-Star games. You would have guys throwing lobs, and you actually would have guys kind of playing defense. Now nobody plays defense. That's the problem with the game. It's become like a dunk contest. They actually used to play defense in these games. I mean, even back in 2001, you look at that All-Star game, it was like, 111 to 110?
Yeah.
Game didn't even reach the 120s. Now you score 180, 190 points in these All-Star games.
It's corny. Yeah, I should have reiterated that. I meant nowadays because the basketball game, they used to be competitive because players did actually used to play defense. Like AI would go all out to try to remember when he took the team on his back and won the game for them. That was awesome to watch. I like how baseball does it because the game used to mean something before they changed it. It would dictate who would have home field advantage, but everybody plays hard, and it's always fun to watch. Now it's just nobody plays defense, and you're scoring 180 points. It's mad corny to me. I don't even watch it.
Yeah, I don't watch any of the All-Star games anymore, really. I mean, I sort of watch the NBA because I've always liked the NBA All-Star game, but it's just become unwatchable. Pro Bowl, I don't watch. It's fucking flag football. I don't watch that crap.
A joke.
You're not even allowed to blitz. You're not allowed to do it. It's not football. MLB All-Star Game is like as kind of, I guess, as real as you can get because it's just a regular baseball game. And then hockey, I'm not a hockey guy, so I'm not going to watch hockey. So basketball was always my favorite All-Star game, and I love the All-Star games in the early 2000s. They were always so fun to watch. You had the guys actually played defense. So you would have McGrady go down the lane. I mean, not that the defense was at its best, but but now when you have someone going down the lane with like a like a lob to yourself, no one's going to try and deter you from it. Like it's like a red parting of the Red Sea.
Or they'll lay down like Steph Curry. We'll just lay down on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, lay down, jump over me.
God, terrible, bro. Garbage. And the dunk contest used to be fun to watch, and that's a complete joke too. You don't even have any of the stars playing anymore. It's just these no-name guys, and they do the same stuff over and over again. It's a joke.
Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, like really killed it that one year. I will give them that. But besides that, they're really, yeah, it's just hard to come up with new things now. You know, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The Dunk King, though. I don't know if you watched the Dunk King. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That stuff is awesome.
That stuff is awesome. Those guys go out there and try. What I don't like about the dunk contest, none of the stars play. Like, that's why we watch it, for those great dunkers out there like Aaron Gordon. But you got these no-name guys that are bench players going out there and dunking.
Yeah.
They're not fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You got to change something on that for sure.
All right, let's take a look at the East. I'm just going to kind of just pull up something. Because off the top of my head, like who's better than the Sixers, right?
The Wizards.
Cleveland. I'd probably say Boston, definitely, right? After that, I like the Bucks. We'll see how the Bucks do. The Wizards are up there.
Mm-hmm. Charlotte's okay.
Maybe the Sixers are like a 6 seed.
Yeah.
6 seed is looking like it. Or maybe they're going to be better than we think.
Yeah, it's going to be a good guess. If you look at it on paper now, I definitely think the Wizards are better than us. Like you said, definitely Boston, Cleveland, Toronto, I think is better than us too. And then you got the mediocre teams like the Miamis and the Bucks. They're very young. Let's see if they can stay healthy and pull together. But they're with us, like us.
I feel like I like the Bucks more than other people.
Yeah, they're decent. The 1 year they were really, really good, and then I think last year they completely fell off. They didn't even look like the team they did the year before that. They just looked atrocious. I mean, yeah, Jabari Parker went down.
I love Giannis. Giannis is my guy.
Yeah, the Greek Freak.
Yeah. So Boston, Cleveland, definitely. Then it's okay. So we're looking at like 5-6. I think is going to be where they're going to be. Yeah,
middle of the pack towards the end for sure.
That's almost being conservative a little bit, I feel like. But then again, like I don't know what to think, how they're going to be by the end of the year, because there's just so many question marks. But the East is so bad, maybe they would get a top 4 seed. I don't know.
Depends with injuries. You don't know what happens there. You've got to factor that in. Crazier things have happened. You got to look at schedule strength.
Crazier things have happened, like the Eagles this year.
Yeah, that, for instance, yeah, that is one of them.
I'm sipping on that fucking Kool-Aid, I'll tell you that.
And I'm hoping the Sixers have the same success that the Eagles do.
Yeah. All right, it's almost 8 o'clock. I have another show upcoming with somebody. His name is Tony Cotillo. He does stuff with me at Philly Influencer. So he's been wanting to come on the show, so he's going to come on tonight, and we're going to bullshit. He's known as the Urker, so people may not like him. I don't know. I know that he's not a Doug Peterson guy, so that's going to rub some people the wrong way.
Uh-oh, for sure. Oh man.
Because Tony and I, we get into arguments all the time on the PI podcast because he's the Urker. You know, he's good. we go back and forth and back and forth. Sometimes I play the role of contrarian just to go at him, just because I feel like it.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, that's good for good entertainment for sure. Definitely for some good entertainment.
We may have some dislikes when Tony comes on, but we'll see. I feel like he might be drinking the Kool-Aid too, though. We'll see. I'm curious to see what he has to say.
How can he not be, Adrian? Them birds are looking impressive.
Should I look at some? Actually, no. I really don't have time to. Comments? Should we give a couple out?
Yeah, you got 5 minutes unless you have time to set up. I don't know. Do like 4 or 5. If there's
all right.
We can do it real quick.
Are you impressed with Big Ja?
From what I've seen, yeah, He's got more pep in his step. He's able to go up and rebound. He's got lift, actually. He wasn't able to get 2 inches off the court last year. So, yeah, losing that weight can help, and he looks a lot more fluid with his spin move. I think that makes his post moves even more deadly with all that weight off.
Ben and Embiid equals the new Penny and Shaq. That's Eric.
Ooh, I like it. I know he had mentioned that before. I hope so, man. I hope we can have the same success they did.
Yeah. Oh, man, somebody doesn't. Doug Peterson doesn't like Justin Anderson. Doug, stick to football, pal. No, Doug Peterson, this account is funny, though. He always makes fun of me for not liking Doug.
Look at Doug Peterson go.
I think Fultz might take slightly longer to acclimate to the speed of the NBA than some others from his draft class, but I still think he'll be the best guard out of this draft in the long run.
I could agree with that.
Well, he does play like this kind of lackadaisical style where he
lulls you to sleep.
And I feel like he's going to have to be a little quicker. No more lackadaisical shit. That shit don't work no more in the NBA.
Got to bring that speed up a little bit.
Yep. What's with Fultz shot all whacked out?
I don't know. I don't like that new shot at all. I hope they don't stick with that. If it goes in and he consistently make it go in on a good percentage, then I'm okay with it. But dude, that stuff looks atrocious. I wouldn't have tweaked it that much. I didn't think his shot was that bad that they had to adjust it that drastically. He looks like he's in a Pilates commercial, man. It's just like up, down, throw. Up, down, throw. No fluidity.
Simmons at the 4 and Dario at the 5 for the small ball lineup was awesome to watch, too. I forgot to bring that up. I don't know if you saw some of that. They played together, and Dario played the stretch 5 position, and I loved it.
That's awesome. I didn't see that now.
That was the second preseason, or no, never mind. Actually, no, I think it was the third or fourth one.
Probably the fourth because I saw the first 3.
Okay. I'll have to look back. I talked about it in one of my recaps. I don't even remember which game it was, but he was playing some of the 5, and he looked good with Ben out there.
Yeah, you had mentioned that before, how well they played together.
Yeah. Let's see. What would Okafor have to do to have Sixers fans want to keep him here? Well, I want to keep him here because he's not good enough to be traded.
Yeah. So to improve his trade value, I'd say he'd have to maybe add, and obviously coming off the bench too, I'd say he'd have to average like 17 a game.
Let's talk some Eagles. It's Eagles season, yo. Hey, I offer plenty of Eagles content on here. I'm about to have an Eagles show. Relax. Patient.
It's because they're 5-1. It is something to be excited about. But right, it is Sixers.
All-Star game, Pro Bowl is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, that's about it. Okay. It is 8 o'clock, so.
Perfect time.
Tony's coming back from soccer practice. He coaches a soccer team. Let's see. I haven't heard back from him yet, but he should be back around 8. I scheduled the show, I think, for 8:30 just to play it safe, but we might get on there earlier than that. But our topic, are the Eagles a legitimate team in the NFC? Or what? I don't remember what I said. Scratch what I said. Just go read whatever the hell I wrote for the headline.
For the headline.
That's what the show is about. I don't even know what it's about. And I scheduled the damn thing.
All right.
But that's how you know Tony and I, we don't need topics. We just go.
Yeah, man, that's how you know you got a good chem right there.
That's basically what we did today. The only thing I wrote down was Embiid and the free throw attempts and the 100.7 offensive rating. That's it.
All we need, little bullet points. No notes. No
notes. Like some fuckers out there. I'm not going to get into those people.
All right, all
They
right.
want to call themselves the best in the business, but they waste all their time talking shit on other people. You cannot be the best in the business if you waste all your time talking shit. I'm the best in the business because I waste all my time actually putting in the work. That's why I don't respond to you, because you're not on my fucking level. Goodbye.
Go Sixers!
He wants me to respond so bad. He's been talking shit for over a year, and I just ignore it, and he hates it.
That's what you gotta do.
He hates it.
Just gotta ignore it. You just gotta ignore that stuff.
Hatred is fueled by jealousy. This guy doesn't understand that I'm 10 times smarter than him. I know how this shit works. You're jealous because I'm successful and you're not. You're twice my age, motherfucker. What are you doing picking on me for?
I'm done.
I will tell you, Philly 500, don't worry. But they say that they're the best in the business when they're not.
Philly 500 is the man.
Philly 500 is the man. We were going to do the bitter dingbats today, but since Philly 500 is King Dingbat, he forgot he had to volunteer today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love Philly.
He's the man. And Eric, you definitely called the Fultz thing, so definitely points for that for sure too.
Oh, Philly 500, I'm not talking about you, pal.
Nah.
See, I don't want to say who I'm talking about because I don't want them to get attention because that's what they want.
They rename nameless.
That's how they're trying to pick a fight with Philly Influencer and I so they can get eyeballs on their product because they're not good enough to do it themselves. That's why. Like, I'm smarter than you. I know how this works. You're not fooling me. You can talk all the shit you want. You wouldn't last more than a fucking round with me. Do you really think this guy could last a round with me talking Eagles?
Nah, definitely not.
Are you like this? Oh, no notes. He goes a fucking minute without no notes and he thinks he's the best in the business. It doesn't take talent to go for a minute.
I'm done.
That's how long you last in bed, motherfucker.
Boom. Throwing shade on him.
I'm throwing a lot of shade because he's a fucking asshole. And he's fake as fuck.
That's true.
I'm done. Bye.
Oh, man, that's so funny.
Goodbye.